Daf Yomi Tractate Menachot, page 77b, top of the page. We're starting a new Mishnah. At the very top of 77b, the Mishnah says, Mikulam hayanot elechad bi'esre teruma shenemal Yikriv mimenecha mekorban tumar Hashem echad shelo yitol parus mikol korban שיהיו כל קורבנות שווים שלא ייטול מקורבן על חברו. הכהן הזורק אז אדם שלום לא יהיה, יש לו נאכל לבעלים. So the Mishnah says, from all the 4 types of loaves accompanying the thanks offering, one takes 1 loaf from each set of 10 as truma, to be given to a priest, as it is stated, and he shall present from it 1 of each offering as a truma unto the Lord. To the priest sprinkles the blood of the peace offerings against the altar, it shall be given. Leviticus 7:14. The verse is analyzed. 1 indicates that one should not take a sliced loaf of each offering, indicates that all the offerings should be equal, meaning that one should not take a loaf from one type of offering for another type. To the priest that sprinkles the blood of the peace offerings against the altar, it shall be given, and the rest of the loaves are eaten by the owner. Okay, that's the Mishnah. Now for the Talmud. Tana Rabbanon dekrimenu menamuchal ina mechubal echad shelo yitol parus mikol korban shiu kol korban shavos or shavin in brackets shelo yitol min hakorban al chaveiro tumal Hashem inu yodea b'kamhi. The Gemara says the Mishnah teaches some of the halachot of truma to be taken from loaves of the thanks offering that are derived from the verse, and he shall present from it one of each offering as a truma to the Lord. The Gemara cites the Braita that interprets the same verse. The sages taught in Braita the phrase, and he shall present from it, indicates that the loaves must all be as one, meaning truma may be taken from the loaves only when they are joined together in one place. 1 indicates that one should not take a sliced loaf of each offering, indicates that all of the offerings should be equal, meaning that one should not take a loaf from one type of offering for another type. When the verse states, as truma to the Lord, I do not know from how many loaves the truma is taken. הרי נידע נאמר כאן תרומה, נאמר תרומס מעשה תרומה, מעל הלן אחד מעשרו, אף כאן אחד מעשרו. I therefore derive this from a verbal analogy. It is stated here in the passage of the loaves describing the thanks offering, truma, and it is stated with regard to truma of the tithe, then you shall set apart from it a truma for the Lord, even a tithe of the tithe. Numbers 18:26, just as below with regard to truma of the tithe. 1 out of every 10 is separated as truma, so to here, with regard to the loaves of the thanks offering, 1 out of every 10 loaves is separated as truma. O kilach lederzo nemakan truma, v'nema bikurim truma, v'lahalan ein lashil, afkan ein lashil. Or perhaps go this way and derive the measure from a different verbal analogy. It is stated here, truma, and then it is stated with regard to the first fruits, truma, Deuteronomy 12:17. Just as below with regard to first fruits, it has no measure, so to here say that it has no measure. Nirali midoime, dain truma shenachea truma, mitruma shenachea truma, ve'al yochiach bikum sheishachea truma. The Braita continues, let's consider to which of the 2 cases, truma or the tithe, or the first fruits. The case of truma of the loaves of the thanks offering is more similar. It is logical that one derives the halacha of truma that is not followed by another truma, such as truma of the loaves of the thanks offering, from a truma that is not followed by another truma, such as a truma of the tithe. And the case of the first fruits will not serve as proof, since they are followed by another truma, as truma and tithes are taken after the first fruits are separated. Oh, kelach lederzo lenin truma lecheles b'makom kadosh mitruма lecheles b'makom kadosh ve'al tochiach trumas meiser shenecheles b'chol makom. Or perhaps go this way and reason that one derives the halacha of truma of the loaves of the thanks offering, which is eaten in a sacred place in Jerusalem, from truma of the first fruits, which is eaten in a sacred place in Jerusalem. And the case of truma of the tithe will not serve as proof, as it may be eaten anywhere. Talmud Lomer made truma Hashem. Since both of these comparisons are equally plausible, the verse states with regard to the loaves of the thanks offering from it, a truma unto the Lord, and similarly it is written with regard to truma of the tithe, from it a truma, to indicate that there is a verbal analogy between the two, from which it can be derived that one separates one out of every 10 loaves of the thanks offering as truma. Okay? Lamadnu לתרומה שהיא אחד מן עשור, אבל אין יודע מכמה היא חלה הרי נדן. נאמר כאן לחם לחלום משתי לחם מה לחלום עשור לחלום, אף כאן עשור לחלום. The writer continues, we have learned with regard to truma of the loaves of the thanks offering that its measure is 1 out of every 10. But I do not know from this verbal analogy from how much flour each leaven loaf is to be prepared. I therefore derive this from a verbal analogy. It is stated here in the passage concerning the loaves of the thanks offering bread, Leviticus 7:13. And it is stated here with regard to the 2 loaves, meaning the public offering on Shavuot of 2 loaves from the new wheat bread, Leviticus 23:17. Just as there with regard to the 2 loaves, one prepares the loaves with 1/10 of an ephah per loaf, so to here, with regard to the loaves of leavened bread, the thanks offering, one prepares the loaves with 1/10 of an ephah per loaf. Or perhaps go this way and draw the halacha from a different verbal analogy. It is stated here with regard to the loaves of the thanks offering bread, and it is stated there with regard to the showbread bread, Leviticus 24 verse 7. One can conclude that just as there with regard to the showbread, each of the 12 loaves is baked from 2/10 of an ephah of flour, so to here, each of the loaves of leavened bread of the thanks offering should be baked from 2/10 of an ephah of flour. Nira lemidoime. Danim mincha ba chametz. Im zevach mincha ba chametz im zevach. Aluchiach lechem aponim. She'areinu ba chametz im zevach. The verse continues, let's consider to which of the 2 cases, the 2 loaves or the showbread, the case of the 11 loaves of the thanks offering is more similar. It is logical that one derives the halacha of the loaves of leavened bread of the thanks offering, which is a meal offering that comes as leavened bread along with the animal offering, from another meal offering that comes as leavened bread along with an animal offering, such as the two loaves which are leavened, which come with animal offerings. Leviticus 23:17-19. And the showbread will not serve as proof, since it does not come as leavened bread, nor does it come with an animal offering. Kilach le'achzodanin mincha ba me'aretz v'chutz l'oretz Menachot mincha ba me'aretz v'chutz l'oretz Menachot mincha v'alu chichu shtei halechem she'ein bois ela min hachodosh u'min ha'oretz. Or perhaps go this way and reason that one derives the halacha of the loaves of leavened bread of the thanks offering, which is a meal offering. It can come from the grain of Eretz Yisrael or outside of Eretz Yisrael, from new grain or from old grain. From the halacha of showbread, which is also a meal offering that can come from the grain of Eretz Yisrael or from outside of Eretz Yisrael, from new grain or from old grain. And the 2 loaves will not serve as proof, since they can come only from new grain and from Eretz Yisrael. Talmud Lomar Yehoshua Taviu Lechem Nufa Shnayim Shein Talmud Lomar Taviu Ma'atam Taviu Shekol Ma'ashat Mevi Malkam Achel Harei Zekozeh Ma'alahal Nesorin Nechalom Afkan Nesorin Nechalom. Since both of these comparisons are equally plausible, the verse states concerning the 2 loaves, You shall bring out of your dwellings 2 loaves of waving. Leviticus 23:17. As there is no need for the verse to state, you shall bring what? Then is the meaning when the verse states you shall bring. This indicates that whatever, meaning any meal offering you bring from a different place, it must be like this, meaning the 2 loaves. Therefore, just as there in the case of the 2 loaves, the measure of a tenth is a tenth of an ephah per loaf. So to here, in the case of the loaves of leavened bread of the thanks offering, the measure is a tenth of an ephah per loaf. If so, perhaps one can derive it. Just as here, in the case of 2 loaves, the entire measure for the 2 loaves is 2/10 of an ephah. So to here, in the case of the loaves of leavened bread, the thanks offering, the entire measure for all 10 loaves of leavened bread is 2/10, to exclude the possibility that some verse states there shall be, to indicate that each leavened loaf is prepared from a tenth of an ephah. Accordingly, the 10 loaves of leavened bread of the thanks offering are prepared with a total of 10/10 of an ephah. Okay. The man knows the Lachamis and son of Masminayin. Tamaloi Malachanas Lechem Chometz. The verse continues. We have learned that there are 10/10 of an ephah of fine flour for the loaves of leavened bread accompanying the thanks offering. For it is derived that there are 10/10 of an ephah for 30 loaves of matzah. The verse states, if he brings it for a thanks offering, then he brings with the thanks offering leavened cakes mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers spread with oil, cakes mingled with oil, and fine flour poached. With cakes of leavened bread, he shall present his offering with the sacrifice of his peace offering for thanks. Leviticus 7, 12, and 13. Neged chametz haba avei matzah nimtzu esrim eschoinos lachmi toido. It's all lechametz is on the matzah by mentioning all the loaves of unleavened bread in one verse, and the loaves of leavened bread in the subsequent verse. It is indicated that one must bring the matzah in a measure corresponding to the measure of leavened bread. Consequently, there are 20/10 of flour for the loaves at the thanks offering, 10 for the loaves of leavened bread, and 10 for the matzah. Yachol sosh matzah lo yehu chulay meminechod tamaloi ba'im al toideh kriva v'kriva zerach toideh chalis matzos belulas b'shem l'kiri matzos mishuchim b'shemen toiles b'cheves merbeches b'goimel nimsa shloishes choinim ushlish chol min umin. Shalosh chalos soy. V'nimtzu lachmei toida arba'im b'notel mehem arba b'notel kohen v'shir chalav elbadim. One might have thought that one's bringing 10 loaves of matzah, and that all of them should be only one type. Therefore, the verse states if he brings it for a thanks offering, then he shall bring with the thanks offering unleavened cakes mingled with oil and unleavened wafers with oil. The cakes mingled with oil or fine flour poached. With cakes of leavened bread he shall present his offering. The verse indicates that one must bring 3 types of matzah. Consequently, there are 3 1/3 of a tenth of an ephah of fine flour for each and every type. 3 loaves to a tenth of an ephah, and consequently, there are a total of 40 loaves of the thanks offering. The owner of the offering takes for them 1 loaf of each type and gives them to the priest, and the remaining loaves are eaten by the owner and any ritually pure Jew to whom he wishes to give those. This concludes the Braita. Amar Mar v'ikriv mimenu minamu mechubal elamiato dichsiv es kol chelboy yorim mimenu hasamai mechubar. Gemara analyzes the Braita. The master said, and he shall present from it, indicates that the Tama may be taken, that Truma may be taken from the loaves only when they are joined together in one place. The Gemara asks that it is so, if that is so, concerning that which is written in the verse with regard to the sacrificial portions of the sin offering consumed on the altar, and that all the fat thereof he shall take off from it and make it smoke upon the altar. Leviticus 4:19. What is there to be joined together? What is there to be joined together? Okay, we're back. Could Rav Chizam Ravimi? Diam Rav Chizam Ravimi. Shalai Ninatech. Vasar Koidim Shir Levurin. The Gemara responds: the sacrificial portion of the sin offering must be sacrificed. Yeah? Must be sacrificed from that which is joined together in accordance with that which Rav Chizda says, that Avimi says. Rav Chizda says that Avimi says, a priest may not cut up the meat of the offering before taking it from the sacrificial portions that are to be burned upon the altar. The master said, it is stated here in the passage of the loaves of thanks offering truma, and it is stated with regard to truma, the tithe truma, just as 1/10 of the tithe is separated as truma the tithe, so to 1 every 10 of loaves of thanks offering is separated as truma. V'neila petrumas midyan dinin truma noheges adoires, the truma noheges adoires, the altuchir trumas midyan she'in noheges adoires. The Gemara challenges, let us derive the halach of truma of the loaves of the thanks offering from truma that was taken following the war of the Jewish people against Midian, where the word truma also appears. See Numbers 31:20-30. The measure of the truma there was not 1 of 10. The Gemara responds, one derives the halacha with regard to truma of the loaves of the thanks offering, which is practiced for all generations, from truma the tithe, which is also practiced for all generations. And truma of Midian shall not serve as proof, as it is not practiced for all generations. It's one time thing. Danin Davo Shinema Bo Mimenu Trumas Hashem No Shinema Bo Trumas Hashem Boritu Chalo Loy Nemo Bo Mimenu Trumas Hashem Trumas Hashem. The Gemara challenges, and let's derive the halach of Truma, the loaves of the thanks offering from Truma Chala, meaning the portion of dough given to the priest, as the verse refers to as Truma. Numbers 15:19-20. That means that measure is 1 in 24. The Gemara responds, the school of Rabbi Ishmael taught that 1 derives a matter, meaning Truma of the loaves of the thanks offering, of which it is stated from it a Truma unto the Lord. Leviticus 7:14. From a matter, meaning truma of the tithe, of which it is stated from a truma for the Lord. Numbers 18:26. This serves to exclude truma of chala, of which it is not stated for it a truma for the Lord. By Rave. Rave asked the question: Truma lach metoido, trumas lach metoido chayim misa, v'chaymish or ein chayim leah misa chaymish. Rav raises with regard to the truma of the loaves of the thanks offering. Is a non-priest who intentionally partakes of it liable to receive death at the hand of heaven, as is the halacha concerning a non-priest who intentionally consumes truma of the tithe? Similarly, if a non-priest who unwillingly partakes of truma of the loaves of the thanks offering, liable to pay the value what he consumed, as well as the additional 1/5 of that value, as is the halacha concerning a non-priest who partakes of truma of tithe unwittingly. Leviticus 22:9-14, or 22:9-14, or is one not liable to receive death at the hand of heaven, or to pay additional 1/5 for their consumption. Kiva is Chadash. Tumas ma'israel is tumas ma'israel domi. Oidima bo v'chamishi so mi'trachmone. Rav elaborates. Since truma of the loaves of thanks offering is compared to truma of the tithe, Perhaps it's considered like Truma the tithe and the same penalties are incurred. Or perhaps, since the verse uses restricted terms with regard to Truma of the tithe, as the verse states of one who intentionally partakes of it, they shall not die. They shall die due to it. Leviticus 22, verse 9. And the verse states with regard to one who unwillingly partakes of it, then he shall put its fifth part unto it. Leviticus 22:14. The merciful and restricted this halacha specifically to the case of Truma of the tithe. Midamas teku. Rava raises another dilemma based on the comparison of Truma of the loaves of the thanks offering and Truma of tithe. Does Truma of the loaves of the thanks offering that fell into the non-sacred produce render the mixture forbidden, as is the halacha concerning Truma of the tithe, or does the comparison of the Truma of the loaves to Truma of the tithe apply only with regard to the proper measure, and it does not render the mixture forbidden? The Gemara comments, these dilemmas shall stand unresolved. Amar Mar, Tamadabin Tiyanamai Tamuda. The master said in reply to the verse states, they shall be, indicating that each leavened loaf must come from 1/10 of an ephah, so that the loaves of matzah and the thanks offering are prepared from 10/10 of an ephah. The Gemara asks, what is the biblical derivation for this? How can this be derived from they shall be? Continued next Amud.